Good morning, YouTube. It's the Conservative Atheist here. I wanted to create a video today on a quote that I actually had to look up to see the origin of it, but it's a really good quote, and I think it's very emblematic of the times that we're living in right now, with all of these kind of faux tough guys that you see out protesting. And so let's just read the quote and let's get into it here. The quote is, "Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times." Whether or not, or however you feel about the baby boomer generation, that was, they and the generation before them were extremely strong and tough. Those were tough men. I mean, you had men you still have men in that boomer generation, 70 plus years old, that are working full time, that are farmers still. These were men that had to storm the beaches of Normandy. These were men that had to take on the Nazis, take on the evil Japanese Empire. These are men that got sent to Vietnam, in some cases. So extremely tough men. These are men that were born, whose parents, they were born into a family whose parents and families had experienced the Great Depression, where nobody had jobs. Crazy hard times. And then you take a look at what we have today. We have internet on our phones. You've got unemployment benefits that the government will pay you if you're out of work. You've got all these different things. And I'm not talking about the immediate time right now where we've got COVID and all that nonsense. But, if you think back to February of this year, you didn't have it that hard. I didn't have it that hard. I mean, sure, people are experiencing tough times at any time in the world. You can say that someone's going to be experiencing tough times. But as a whole, this nation in America and a lot of other developed nations around the world, you were in for some pretty good times. Now, we've fought in some wars. We've participated in some conflicts, but nothing on the scale of Nam or World War II or anything like that. And what you've got is, or what this has bred, what this has festered and fostered is, or what this has fostered and allowed to fester, I should say, is a group of individuals who don't understand at all what it means to work hard, don't understand at all what it means to sacrifice something. So they're out in the street thinking that they're, being these brave soldiers fighting for change, and they're not brave at all. It does not take any bravery to jump into a mob and attack police officers when they can't shoot you. You know for a fact that they are not going to shoot you. What's the worst that's going to happen? Some tear gas? You'll survive that. You'll survive that. Rubber bullets? It can kill you, but they're probably not going to. There was that picture of the dude that got shot in the neck with one, and it was all, bruised and brutal. And I can't help but smile at that, because you've got it coming if you're out there torching a courthouse and you get shot with a rubber bullet. Not really feeling sorry for you. But he survived, or she survived. I think it was a female that got shot in the neck. I know there's a cameraman dude that took it in the face. And so, again, they survived. I haven't heard of a single protester being killed by anything. So, again, to get back to the quote, we had some really strong men, and on the backs of the strong men and women, we have been given an environment of really good times. We absolutely have. Really difficult, I think, to dispute that. And what it's bred, and what's allowed to occur, is these incredibly weak individuals that are telling themselves amongst each other that they're so strong, they're so tough, that they're going to come out and they're going to face down the police. And again, knowing full well that the police can't really retaliate. So what you end up having is this weird standoff that, we're 59 days in, I think, in Portland, I believe, and with no end in sight. It doesn't matter how many federal officers Trump's going to send to these places. The people have lost their mind, and that the narrative is taking control, where They honestly believe that that they are the righteous freedom fighters, and they think that I heard someone online talk about it in the terms where America, we're the if you're thinking about Star Wars, we're the evil empire, right? And so you've got to fight against all these stormtroopers in the streets, and you're part of the Rebel Alliance and the Resistance and all this nonsense, and they have absolutely no clue. Most of these people probably haven't traveled a lot. They don't understand. They don't understand the world politics at all at play here. We're very close to a war with China, in whatever capacity that's going to look like. If that's probably already in a newer Cold War, but an escalation is occurring right now with China. It's not really being covered in the news, which is also interesting. And we may well come into a time where the weak men are going to create a horrible place. Let's get the quote back. So the weak men are going to create very hard times for us, which I think we're already about to experience. And then out of that, we're going to have another generation of extremely strong men. And it's going to be very interesting to see what that looks like. But my niece and nephew, they are 6 and 8. So my little nephew, if the world keeps going, if America keeps going down this path, he's going to have an extremely hard life. It is not going to be easy for him in 10 years down the road. 10 years down the road, when he's 18, it's not going to be an easy place. I personally don't believe. I think we are headed in the wrong direction. This is certainly, the course can be corrected, but if all things remain as they are today, I don't see any way that my little nephew growing up isn't going to have an extremely hard life. And the times are going to be really hard. And I think that will toughen him up, hopefully. And he'll be prepared and able to combat whatever threats come their way. But in 10 years' time, if we don't correct our course now, who knows what the country's going to look like. But I can tell you this, it's going to look very, very different than what we have today. And I don't think that's going to be for the better. Again, let's just read off that quote one more time. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. So if you follow the cycle, then we already had the hard times creating the strong men. We had the strong men creating the good times. Where does that leave us now? That leaves us with the good times having created weak men my age, a little bit younger. And what's the very next step in the cycle? It is going to be that weak men create hard times. We are right about there. Again, there was there's all this dust up, and there's this individual that I don't remember the name. I don't really care, to be honest with you. But the gentleman out of Austin, the peaceful protester that came out with the AK-47, they were blocking traffic. They pointed their gun at this guy in a car, and who I think was going the way they didn't want him to go. And tough guy with the AK-47 pointed his rifle at him, probably had no idea how to even use it properly. And sure enough, guy in the car shot and killed him. And what is it? That guy that got killed was a weak man. He was not a strong man. Strong men do not go armed into a mob to accost or hold up or attack civilians just trying to live their life. The guy in the car that fired at him was not out, at least again, maybe all the facts aren't out there. We don't know everybody's motivation. We don't really know what's in anyone's heart. From what I've seen, I do not believe that individual that fired and killed this armed, protester, I don't think he was out for trouble. These guys blocked his path, got on top of his car. Then this guy shows up with a rifle pointing it at the car. If it's me, I'm taking a shot too. Absolutely. There's no excuse for any mob or any group of people to prevent you from fleeing, right? So if we want to think about things in terms of nature, right? We really have two options when we're confronted with danger. We can run or we can fight, right? Flight or fight. Those are your options. That's really it. And then, if you're not going to be able to, if you can't run, if they're going to jump on your car, if they're going to block your way and force you to hurt them so that you can leave, what options do you have? Then you add to that, they're blocking your car, they're not allowing you to leave, and now somebody's going to come up with a gun and point it at you. What choice do you have? I mean, put me on that jury, please. There's no way I would charge that poor individual for being subjected to that mob and being forced to shoot that person. How is it that someone is going to argue that he was in the wrong there? Now, did he have to shoot the individuals? Maybe, maybe not. I wasn't there. I don't know. I have seen the videos, and I didn't see a whole lot that led me to believe that that the individual in the car was going to be safe if he exited that vehicle and surrendered to the mob. So far, that hasn't gone well for anybody who's done that. And I just, you are entitled to protect yourself in this country. You are. In other countries, maybe not. But in America, you are entitled to protect yourself. And I will firmly stand on anyone's side if they are simply trying to leave a situation and they are being prevented from doing so violently. I'm on their side. So, and that includes protesters. So if you're going to go out and protest and counter protesters come, the right wants to come in and harass you and tell you you're a bunch of idiots, which, by the way, I would agree with that. The right then has to allow these protesters to leave. You have to allow these people to exit. If they want to leave, if you're intimidating them and they want to leave, you have to allow them to leave. If you corner them, well now, hey, I'm kind of on the protester side if they react violently. They've got nothing else, no other choice, and you're not allowing them to flee. What do you think they're going to have to do? Okay? So, now none of that has occurred that I'm aware of, but I'm just saying, I'm just laying that out there. So I would be on that side and I would support those individuals, again, if you are trying to leave a situation that's going to get violent. I've been in several different clubs, and no, I haven't been a part of any kind of shooting, but you can kind of feel the tension. You can see a couple people getting into it and go, you know what? I'm not interested, man. I'm out of here. This doesn't look like it's going to be good. And then, of course, some sort of scuffle breaks out. And, whether or not people die, that's, it's bad, but it doesn't have any bearing on whether or not I'm going to stick around, because I'm not. I don't have any wish to do that in a situation that's potentially going to turn extremely violent, especially when I don't have anything to do with it. So, maybe that the club's a bad example, but still, again, I'll just say it one more time. You've got to allow people to escape a situation if they are trying to do so. And if you are preventing them from exercising the flight option, their only other option is to fight. And if that's what you want, then that's what you're going to get. And I think that's exactly what a lot of people are getting right now. And where this country is going is really scary to me, where you can have a mob of people blocking off roads and preventing you from getting to where it is that you're trying to go. And then they're going to surround your car and bang on the windows, crack your car with a hammer. Nope, that's not okay, and I'm not up for it. And I absolutely will support and respect everyone's right to defend themselves in every situation, especially one where they are trying to leave. Okay, so anyway, guys, that's the video. Let's roll that. Let's roll that quote one last time, because I think it is incredibly powerful and is very emblematic of where we are in the country today. So one last time: hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. And again, guys, I don't think we're at the stage yet where weak men are creating hard times yet. Maybe we are approaching that, but I do think we're certainly at the stage where, or even a little past the stage where good times have created weak men. And unfortunately, A lot of them are in my generation. So hopefully you're not one of them. And if you're listening into this, hopefully you have a little bit of perspective that you can gain here. And join us again next time for another video where we discuss something related to the culture, something related to the times that we're in, and hopefully gain a little bit of insight out of it. All right. Thanks a lot, YouTube. Have a good one.